Hey guys, what's up? Porkchopper here, and today is the day we have all been waiting for. The 38.3 patch notes have been released, and I'm going to go over the juicy details sharing my opinion on each change, while putting on screen the changes so you can see for it yourself. I would have timestamped the video below so you can jump to where you want to go, as this will be a longer update video than all the others I have done. First will be the year 1 event, then card changes, and then finally the hero changes, all 20 of them. But let's get into it. First, the new hero Yin will be out tomorrow. I have a ability preview looking at the overview on my channel if you wish to check it out also. Finally, banners are here. A bit different than expected, but they will be available in loot crates. However, Epic have said that different banners will be up for purchase over the next 2 weeks on the store. We can tell them which ones we prefer for the future. Either way, they do look super cool. The year 1 celebration kicks off this week, and every player that just plays one match during next week will have a chance at a Vault skin. Or you will get 500 coins if you already have all of them. Founders get an extra 1 too. Dull XP will be on next week also with many sales, like 20% off 10 loot crate key bundle and 33% off all hero bundles. And now we're going to move on to the hero changes. So I'm quickly going to again go through over each hero, talk about what I think needed to be changed and what they actually have changed and what I think about it quickly for each hero, or else this is going to be a really long video and I don't want that. So first we have Aurora. Hopefully she's going to get nerfed, but she actually has overall, which I think is a good change. Her base health has been reduced to 506 from 550. Again, all this stuff will be on screen for you. Health per level gain has been reduced also, which is nice that she was a teeny bit too healthy compared to someone like Countess. Her frozen sword being her basic attack card scaling has been reduced, and her base damage also has been reduced a bit, and base damage per level reduced to 1 from 1.5. Again, loads of people just put loads of crit and loads of attack speed on her, and she was just a god, so this definitely stops that. Glacial charge, the only thing they've changed is the cooldown. Not a massive change on the cooldown, but you know, it wasn't her biggest problem anyway. The other change is Full Frost. The duration of effect reduced to 4 seconds from 4.55, 5.5 or 6. This duration was on the floor. Before, it was ridiculous. If you got trapped inside it, you were in there for sometimes at end game 6 seconds, which was insane. So glad they sorted that. And root duration actually has been changed. It's not 2 seconds at all levels. It's now actually has a decent graduation, maximum being 1.5. So big nerf there. And mana cost has also been increased, I think by 10 at each level per across the board. So that's actually quite a nice change there. And the only other thing they've done is her ultimate, their base damage has been reduced, as you can see on screen. Now deals varying shattering damage based on whether a shattering unit is a hero or not, which is a massive change. Before this update, if say you were with a group of your minions and she ulted, and then all the minions would give that extra damage AoE effect on you, and it could do insane amounts of damage and keep you there for so much longer than you should be. So they changed it so hero base damage has actually been increased a bit, but non-hero shadow base damage has been reduced, and the non-hero scarred caning has also been reduced. So overall for Aurora, big changes, all very much needed. The only thing I don't like is that the Soliloquium, her Kalari jump thing has not been changed, because that could avoid so many fucking abilities, and it seems like they haven't even looked at that. Like the way she can jump out of a Decker, ultimate or Countess, or the way it can use aggro the tower so often, and it has infinite health, so minions get stuck by it. Big changes that really need to happen, but overall this really does hurt her, so maybe they thought, that's cool to have it, but now she's actually in line, so she won't be used as much. Crunch ability that definitely needs a bit of love, but it seems all they've done is used his punch, which is his basic attack. Attack speed gain per hero level has been increased to 2% from 1.4, again per hero level. This is quite a big difference, I guess, and I guess his base damage per hero has been also reduced from 0.8 from 1, so that kind of evens it out. I guess they wanted you to build more power on him rather than attack speed, so that kind of worked with his kit, so they're giving you a bit more extra attack speed just with leveling him up. Interesting to see how that goes. He was a hero that I felt was just too big, and he just got bullied so quickly, but he does have amazing burst potential. You just need to get right into it, and he's 1v1, he's quite the killer. Fenmail is a hero which I didn't think was not underpowered. There was just heroes like Rampage which were much stronger than him, but they seem to give him a bit of love. His sweep, which his base attack speed gain per level has been increased to 1.5 from 1.26. His Earth Shatter, which is his ultimate base damage, has been reduced quite a bit, not too much, but the card scaling has been increased to 1 from 0.8. I guess they didn't want to do that core damage, they want you to actually build more damage to him than other things. Then we have the Fae. The only thing that's been changed is to Harvest Nettles, where cooldown has been reduced to 5 seconds from 6 seconds. Gadget is a hero that's actually been really looked at here. In most mostly good ways. We'll see how it goes. But her speed gate, the movement has been increased to 125 at all levels from really crap ones. Basically before, her speed gate was useless. It did no movement buff, so at 125 at all levels means it may be worth it. Duration reduced to 1 second, however, from 3.6 seconds, so it's a very quick initial burst. So I don't know, again, if that even evens out to the point where it's buffed, but it's not buffed. Also, the cooldown has been adjusted a teeny bit, so it's not as ridiculous late on. The only thing that else was changed was her ultimate, which is quite a lot of changes. Her cooldown has been increased a bit, but the base damage overall has also been increased. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword there. Cooldown's been increased, damage been increased. However, they've actually done that damage application has been reworked. If you don't know, her ultimate, which is the Tesla Dome, has ticks of damage. I think it does 5 ticks of damage, but now it scales over time. Something like Howie's, Howie's last hit is the big damage dealer. This time, basically, damage increases by 75% for each tick, meaning the final tick hits very, very hard. Damage from Tesla Dome now applies a micro slow, don't know how much that is. So that seems ability which is a bit more CC to it, but then it has a high cooldown and it doesn't do so much initial damage. But if you can keep them in there for that full 4 to 5 seconds, then it does insane amounts of damage. It'd be good to combo with other abilities rather than being its own thing. Which, again, interesting to see. I actually kind of like those changes. Next we have Grim, which is a hero that's been slowly buffed over time, and again these seem quite small ones, but his mana gain per level has been increased to 33.6 from 28.8. This may seem a bit pointless, but he is a utility carry, so he does lose quite a bit of mana, so this is kind of nice, even though you would never build mana with him, just nice to have. Card scaling for his basic attack has been increased to 0.92 from 0.85. Nice to have again. I mean, that may seem not a massive change, but in the big picture that may mean he may do quite a bit of damage. And in the suppression mode, which is the slow, that has effect as a 0.8 second for duration. Don't know how different that is from what it was before, but I think these changes will help him along his way, especially with a few nerfs to another carry in here, which I'll get to in a sec. It means he may be up to the level we need. Then we have Grux, a few small changes. Double pain and smash and grab. Card scaling has been slightly reduced. That's fine, I don't see a problem with this really. Howitzer's landmine has been actually affected also. His base damage has been reduced, card scaling has also been reduced slightly, and the duration of the time it's allowed on the floor is 3 seconds from 5 seconds. I think landmine was Howitzer's biggest problem, as it did so much damage and the amount of control you have over an enemy's position. So you can still have that control, it's just he doesn't do as much insane damage as late on. It can do almost 300 damage, kind of insane. Also, his ultimate being Make It Rain cooldown has been increased by a teeny bit, not too much thing, because again at level 3 it was 50 seconds, which is kind of insane. So I definitely think it needed a push in the other direction. Next on the list is Iggy and Scorch, which again a hero that need massive changes, but seeing they've kept to the kit Iggy always had, they just buffed it quite substantial. His oil stake move speed has been increased to 100 at all levels from the pathetic 20, 13, 40, 50. It literally did nothing, so hopefully now actually makes it so he has a bit of mobility. I know the other thing they've done is Flame Turret, they've increased the base damage, but by a significant amount, may I add. This is a massive amount. Again, it means in mid lane he will be poked early on. I don't think they wanted to change his actual kit. They just wanted to really make him a stronger opposition. But it seems like if he can get your turrets down and get the combos going with his oil, then it can actually do substantial damage, and it seems that way. And it has amazing wave clear, so he can defend lanes like that did in Legacy. Then we have Kalari. Only thing that's Death Sentence has been changed with her cooldown. Small change, but you know, nice one to have. Now Chimera, the only thing they've done is for Ambush and Cool, the stacks of Spirit Regeneration of activation actually grant some stacks. So Ambush now grants 3 stacks and Cool grants 6 stacks, as Chimera isn't a bad hero, it's just late on he kind of just gets a bit obsolete. So this kind of makes his health regeneration maybe near what Legacy was, which was kind of insane. So this kind of gets it in between the middle ground, which would be nice for him. 2 changes for Quan, Light of Heavens and Fury of Heavens cooldowns have been adjusted. Cooldown's been reduced for Light of Heavens, which is quite nice for early game ganking if you are a jungler. Fury of Heavens has just been adjusted, hasn't really been, I think it's just been slightly decreased. But again, small little changes, probably just to keep him in line. But again, he was a perfectly fine hero in my opinion anyway. Muriel hopefully gets some nice buffs, as she's a support that needs definitely a bit of love. Her ability that slows has basically been buffed quite a bit early game, the slow magnitude normalizes to 200, 250, 300, 350. So it seems early game it does more slow, but late game it sort of drops off more, so she is more of an early game threat than she was before. Kind of cool. Also, her reversal fortune being her ultimate has apparently been reworked. It no longer stuns enemies or knocks them up in an area around Muriel. It now applies 400 slow over 2 seconds, kind of like Greystone's ultimate. No longer can be cast while airborne, sort of interesting. Player camera now will correctly turn to its normal rotation after the universal fortune ends. I guess these are small changes, depends how much the slow magnitude changes things for her, but not really much changes. And same really things for support doesn't look brighter actually after this patch, which I'll get to at the end. Rampage, the only thing they've changed is his boulder. They finally realised how ridiculous this was, so they're changing it. Stun duration has been reduced to 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, then 2 from 2 seconds at all levels. Also before, if you knew Rampage could keep your boulder in his hand for pretty much as long as you wanted, now time runs out on the rock if it's held more than 5 seconds. Then Rampage actually manually cancels or times out the rock. He pays the mana cost, but the cooldown is not consumed, which is kind of interesting. But I actually like that idea, the fact that he can't hold in his hand to be a threat for that long, which is kind of ridiculous. They also done something to Richter, where mana gain per level has been increased to 45 from 36, so 9 extra mana per level than before. Quite a good change. His abilities are so damn mana hungry, and his range has been increased to 1525, which the maximum was at level 4 across all levels, so now it does the maximum range it would have at all levels. But it seems that they want to make it sure that you do actually have a bit higher mana pool, but you still have to add mana to his kit, rather than just make it so his abilities are really weak, you don't have to add mana and add damage. Because at the end of the day, Richter is a very high skilled hero, that if you land your hooks, that's especially late game, that's like an instant kill. So you do realise that you have to be very careful when changing him. Seraph actually got some massive buffs in my opinion. Base damage has been increased to 58 from 53. Base damage per hero increased to 1.8 from 1.6. Attack speed gained from level has been increased to 2.2% from 0, which is awesome. Base health has been increased. Base armor gain per level has been increased. Small changes to her just base stats, but I think that will definitely give her a buff, as before she just wasn't doing that well, so it's kind of nice to see that she's going to get a bit of love there. Shinbi, the only change they've done is her all-kill base damage per wolf has been increased, so level 3 now it does 105 and it previously did 74. I think this is actually quite a big change. Before I felt it wasn't a big enough kick, especially if you compare it to Counters, which can do just huge damage straight away. This means that if you do take the time to build up the stacks and are skilled enough, that you can get insane amounts of damage off to kill in person a lot easier than before. Now we're on to the last few heroes. I know, really long. Piercing shot has basically been nerfed for Sparrow. Card scaling has been reduced to 0.75 from 1. Base damage has overall been reduced, and cooldown has been also increased to 9 seconds from 8 seconds, so an extra second there. Then Inner Fire, her ultimate, actually has quite the cooldown reduction as well. It now does 50 seconds level 3 compared to 70 before. I do agree with this because Piercing Shot was actually kind of really strong before. I mean, maybe people didn't realise, but Piercing Shot was very strong. It could do 300 to 400 damage through walls, big range. So this does make it not as deadly as a poking early on against the offlane and late going to get those final kills or just general poking damage, because it was kind of insane. Now we're on to the last two heroes, one being Steel. He's Force Shield, you know, the big shield that slows enemy down, builds and becomes active 0.5 seconds faster. That means that if enemies before could just get through the shield, now they can't get through the shield. It'll be an instant activation. Be kind of cool, as I think that's a nice buff, especially after his ultimate got really hurt later on. Finally, Twin Blast. The only changes they've done is to his grenade. His base damage has been increased on it quite a bit. Card scaling has been increased to 0.6 from 0.5, and the projectile speed has been doubled to 6,000 from 3,000. Again, this is projectile speed, not the range of it, but the speed it hits from your gun to the ground, which is really dangerous, and that could be more used as a poking tool rather than just a wave clearing tool now, which is kind of an interesting change, and I like that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, about does it. Now, this was a really long video, or you may see this as separate videos, as I may have cut the video up into 2 to 3 sections because it is going to be really long. But I really hope you enjoy the video, or videos. It took quite a while to edit and make sure it's right, and I'm doing this the second the patch notes came out. I overall think the changes are really good. A few things I think are missing from a few heroes, or like Iggy's and Richter's, just looking at them initially feel a bit underwhelming, but we'll see how they are actually in game. Maybe they thought they were really strong in game. And also the card changes I really like, as it just gives so much more options into the current meta, and well, the meta will most likely substantially change. But anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. Check out my channel, loads of Paragon content. and I'll see you next time.